All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening. My name is James Cunningham. I'm the Outreach and Engagement Manager for Ava Community Energy. So I'll be leading tonight's webinar, providing a background on who Ava Community Energy is and sharing information for residents of San Joaquin County about our upcoming enrollment of unincorporated county into Ava's service territory. So we'll begin with just a brief background on who Ava Community Energy is and what we do. So Ava is a local community choice power supplier. We provide Alameda County and the cities of Lathrop, Stockton, and Tracy with lower rates and more renewable energy options. Starting in May of 2026, Ava will become the default provider of electric generation services in most of unincorporated San Joaquin County as well. As a not-for-profit public agency, Ava reinvests revenue back into the communities we serve through local electrification programs, clean power projects, and support for community-based organizations. So as I mentioned, our service territory includes all of Alameda County and will soon include most of San Joaquin County as well. We are the default provider of electricity generation service for our service area. And according to California law, customers are automatically enrolled in AVA service, but continue to be billed by PG&E unless they opt out. So a brief history, we were originally formed in 2015 and began service in 2018 to our first service cities. Starting over the following years, we began enrolling additional territories, including the cities of Tracy, Pleasanton, Newark, Stockton, and more. And it was in 2024 that unincorporated San Joaquin County voted to join the JPA, or Joint Powers Authority, which is the governing body of our agency. In 2025, we first began service to Stockton and Lathrop, and now in 2026, we'll begin service to unincorporated San Joaquin County as well. So, as a not-for-profit public agency, we are governed by a board of directors that's made up of 18 elected officials from each participating jurisdiction, whether that's the city or county. We also have a 13-member community advisory board that acts as a liaison between the community and our board. And both entities have public meetings that you can listen into or join or make public comment at. So for San Joaquin County, our elected officials serving on AVA's board of directors currently include those you see on the screen here. So how does this actually work? What do we mean when we say electricity service? So in general, there are two components to electricity service that customers pay for. You have the generation, which is how the electricity is produced, and you have the delivery, which is how that electricity gets to your home or business. So AVA only provides the electricity generation service. PG&E still owns the transmission infrastructure and the meters in our service area, so they handle that delivery as well as the billing. So before AVA, PG&E was the only option you had for electricity generation, and now with the introduction of AVA, you have this public option as well. So how it works on the actual bill, again, PG&E still manages the billing. So customers are going to get a single bill each month from PG&E that includes both AVA charges for generation and PG&E charges for delivery. Now, it's very important to note here that this is not an additional charge. AVA charges are replacing what PG&E used to charge you for generation. So if you look at this example image here, the bill on top is a PG&E bill before joining AVA. So there's one line there that says current electric charges. In this example, it's $127. And so what this exact same bill would look like after joining AVA would be you would have two lines, one that specifies current PG&E electric delivery charges, and then AVA Community Energy electric generation charges. So those two amounts do add up to a little bit less than what you would be paying if you were still with PG&E. So while it is an additional line, it is not an additional charge. And that's one of the main things we want to make sure we communicate to new customers. And one thing we'll also highlight just for solar customers, as we know there's a lot of solar in San Joaquin County. Currently, solar customers get one monthly bill from PG&E that shows your electricity generation charges and credits, and then your electricity delivery charges and credits, both from PG&E. So after you enroll with AVA, you're still going to get one monthly bill from PG&E, but it will show your electricity generation charges and credits, which are now from AVA, at a slightly lower rate and electricity delivery charges and credits still from PG&E. if that makes sense. So you won't receive multiple bills. You're not getting duplicate charges. You're going to remain on the same rate schedule as you were before. You're just going to see the way it shows up on the bill will change slightly to reflect that small discount from AVA. And so that brings me to what are the different service plan options that you have with AVA? So again, these are choices and rate options that you did not have before, and now you have these choices. So the default plan for unincorporated San Joaquin County is going to be our standard Bright Choice plan. So that is roughly 62% renewable energy, and the price of this is slightly below what PG&E is charging for generation today. There's also an option for Renewable 100 if you want to opt up and pay a little bit of a premium to get all your energy as renewable power. You have that choice as well, but that's entirely optional. We'll also talk a little bit about your options to opt out of AVA, should you choose to do so. But if you are with AVA, these are your two service plan options. And so at this point, a lot of people ask, where do we get our power from? And how do we procure more renewable energy than PG&E does? And one of the ways we do that is through power purchasing agreements. So we're always looking to add even more wind, solar, and storage to the electricity grid to make the grid more renewable and go towards our goal of decarbonization. And so this slide just has an example of how many projects we currently have contracted and how much energy we're providing through clean sources. And so, what are the other benefits of joining AVA? Like, why do we exist, and sort of why does it impact you, and how does that matter? So, the main benefits are lower rates, local control and investment, sustainability, and just customer choice. So, since we've been in operations in 2018, we've always offered rates slightly lower than PG&E's. We have also invested in the community through a variety of different programs, incentives, and sponsorships. It's been over $100 million we've invested in innovative customer programs, everything from solar and storage at critical municipal facilities through our partnerships with different cities. We have e-bike rebates, public fast charging locations as well. And then we also have invested over $10 million in additional community initiatives like workforce development, community investment grants, and things of that nature. So I did mention the electric bike program rebate, which is one of the things that we have going here. We also have a rebate for batteries to pair with solar systems, which launched just this spring. So these are a couple examples of customer programs that we have that are designed to help make electricity more clean and more affordable. So just to speak a little bit more about the enrollment of unincorporated San Joaquin County and what that process looks like and how it's going to impact you, this next section will cover those details. So, by law, we are required to have four minimum customer notifications of the enrollment of San Joaquin County. So, as I did mention earlier, the enrollment into AVA service is automatic according to state law. And so, we provide two notifications to customer accounts prior to the enrollment, and then two additional notifications after the enrollment once you start seeing AVA on your bill. So these notices are going to be sent via email to customers who have an email address on file with PG&E and by physical mail to those who do not. So if you have an email with PG&E, check in your email inbox for these notices. Otherwise, you can look in your physical mailbox for those. So the enrollment timeline sort of begins in May of 2026. So standard customers are going to begin their enrollment starting in May based on your meter read date. So that means you'll basically not actually see AVA on your bill until June, but the actual service will begin in May. For solar customers, it's slightly different because we try to align your enrollment with AVA closer to your individual true up date to make the process as seamless as possible. So this chart here just has a range of when your AVA enrollment might be, depending on when your current PG&E true update is. So in addition to those minimum required notices, we are also doing as much outreach as we can to ensure that as many customers as possible are informed about this transition before it happens, and also to ensure that AVA is there after and during the transition to answer any questions you might have. So these additional outreach efforts include partnering with local community-based organizations, our municipal partners, especially at the county, different business organizations, and other trusted community leaders as well. We'll be sharing information through social media, newsletters, local press, and every other communication channel that we can, just to make sure this information is getting out, and you're able to learn the basics about this change, and get any questions answered. We're also hosting more webinars like this one, as well as in-person presentations. So finally, the enrollment is going to begin in May 2026, and will be based on each customer's meter read date, as I mentioned. But there's a few other key things we want to highlight regarding billing, because these are some of the main questions that will come up. First, if you are on any income qualified programs, such as CARE or FARA, we want you to know that you're going to stay enrolled in those programs. The enrollment with AVA and participation in AVA does not change your eligibility for those programs in any way. So you'll remain enrolled in these programs with the same discounts that you have today, no changes. We also want folks to know that you do have the option to opt out of AVA service and continue getting your electricity generation through PG&E. You can opt out by calling or emailing AVA's call center or by completing the opt-out form on AVA's website. So this is a simple process. It does require your customer PG&E account number and some small amount of basic information so we can track down your account. But that's it. There's no fees to opt out. You will be paying slightly more with PG&E because we do have a slight discount compared to them. But that's the only change that would sort of happen. So if you do want to opt out, that option is available to you. So closing out here, just want to share a couple sort of common questions that we get and common misconceptions that we want to clarify early and often if we can. So first is why auto enrollment? Why am I being automatically enrolled in this? And there's a couple reasons, but one is just that your local elected officials chose AVA as your electricity provider. And again, state law requires automatic enrollment. So you can opt out anytime at no cost and stay with PG&E if you prefer. But the reason this is happening automatically is just because the county voted for it, and then the state sort of requires that automatic enrollment. So I mentioned earlier, the other question we get often is this an extra charge? Especially when you see something new on your bill for the first time, you might have that question. But no, this is not an extra charge. AVA is replacing PG&E's generation service and costs slightly less, about 0.5% less currently. So PG&E will still deliver the power, maintain the lines, send you that bill and handle any outages. So those things don't change. The only thing is that slight discount you get, and then the eligibility for the programs and incentives and other community investments that we do. Another common question is, was that AVA knocking at my door? And no, we've never gone door to door. We don't partner with any gas providers or any door-to-door sales entities. If somebody is claiming that, please ask for their name and their information and report them to AVA. Another common question is why are elected officials on your board? And again, that's because we are a public, not-for-profit public agency governed by local elected officials. They do receive $130 per meeting as a stipend for attendance, and all these meetings are open to the public. So for full transparency, you're able to join and attend these meetings, see the agendas posted on our website ahead of time, and even make public comment if you're interested in doing so. And lastly, how can AVA offer rates lower than PG&E's? As a not-for-profit, we do not have any shareholders. So that means we have lower overhead, we have access to low-cost financing, and our savings are reinvested back in community and not paid out as profits to any shareholders. So that's sort of how we're able to save a little bit of money for our customers. So that's it. We want to thank you for the time, and I will go ahead and stop the recording so that we can take questions and answers, but appreciate you being here and listening in, and we look forward to serving you.